they never should have said they were going to go free to play. The third, which is in this picture, they've just hidden it, is that's so frustrating for you. Hello, AC here. All right, let's talk about Disney Dreamlight Valley. We have a lot to discuss. I'm not going to go over these graphics. I have them, but everything is on the website, and I'm going to just read straight from there. I'm going to have the blog post linked if you want to look at it yourself, but I'm just going to read through it. And also, I can link the tweet that these little like graphic images of the same information are, so that you can see them as well. So yeah, let's just, I guess, get straight into it. Discover the future of Disney Dreamlight Valley. So this was released yesterday. I felt like I wanted to take some time to process everything before I tried speaking on it, and I feel I've done that. I feel like my opinion on this situation is very nuanced, and I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings, and I think like the biggest, or maybe the first feeling, is like disappointment. Disappointed but not surprised is like where I sit in regards to the news, like generally. I think especially Gameloft, just like, why did you ever say it was gonna go free to play? And like, my assumption of the situation was that the game is a lot better than they thought it was going to be, right? Given how their mobile games have gone, to my knowledge, I haven't played any of their other games, so I can't necessarily speak to a personal experience, but I will say I've heard a lot of other people's experiences through, the past day or so, and it seems like possibly this game, I'm trying to be so careful about my words because I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way towards Gameloft, so it just seems like this game is a lot higher quality than the other mobile games that they've released. And that's okay. Like, I don't really think that this game is like on the free to play level. And like, I know the argument is Sims 4 is free to play. They make their money through expansion packs, and it works really well for them. But you have to remember that, like, I don't believe Sims 3 was free, but like when the game was new, like the original Sims, I had that and played it on discs, okay? The original Sims, and then Sims 2, and then Sims 3, those were all paid games. Like, they had a very well-established customer base that was buying games and buying the expansion. Like, I don't think they were called packs then, but maybe they were. Like, for extra decorating, like, I remember when Pets came out, and that was like a huge deal. They were buying the game and that, right? So Sims kind of knew, like, that they would get their money. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a whole, like, different beast. It's a new game, and so for them to feel like they're gonna go do like a beta phase that's paid and then just release free to play is very risky, right? So my personal opinion on this situation is they never should have said they were gonna go free to play. They never should have. And I think I'm really disappointed that they made that promise for an entire year, if not over. I think more than a year. They were telling us, oh, free to play is coming, free to play is coming. And I don't know when they decided. It doesn't really matter. You said one thing, you promised one thing to your customers, and now you're delivering a different thing, and that's disappointing. And I also want there to be space to change their mind. People should have space to be wrong and change their mind or change their course or like whatever. Like, that's something that I feel very deeply. And so I don't want to say necessarily that like they should not be allowed to change their mind if they see whatever their reasoning was, right? But it's like they've left us so in the dark that we have no benefit of the doubt to give. And like, why would we? Like, if you look at the culture of video games, they're all like, the general consensus is like, bleed your customers dry. And so it's like, when that's the culture that we're in, and it seems like that's what you've decided to do, what assumption are we supposed to come to, I guess, is my point. All that to say, I don't feel necessarily that not going free to play was the wrong choice. And that might not be the most popular opinion, because I know there were a lot of people who were told it was going to be free to play, and they were waiting to play it. Like, that's really upsetting, and that's really disappointing, and that's so valid, and I don't want to take away from that by having the opinion that I have. So I hope that it doesn't come across that way. It's so disappointing, and like it's okay to be frustrated, it's okay to be disappointed, it's okay to feel upset about it. Like, you were waiting for something that you were told you were going to get, and now you just don't get it anymore. And it's like, that's one, it was like so shocking, and I know like there was no way to release the information that wasn't going to be shocking, like, because they had made there was such a hard line of like, this is going to happen by the end of the year, and now we're, you know, almost in November, and they're just like, just kidding, never mind, scrapping that whole idea. And it's like, whoa, what happened? What changed? Like, when did this change? Why did it change? I guess it just feels like, respect us enough to give more than that, to give an explanation, to give even an apology of like, I understand, or we the developers understand that this is disappointing and not what we had promised, and we're sorry. And like, maybe that will come when they do the showcase, but we have like a week of in between where we just don't have all of the information, and that's a problem for me. And I feel like we'll probably go into that a little bit more once I actually start reading this. If I ever get there. But like, right now, you're approaching an audience of people that you have essentially been lying to for a year, and then telling them, hey, what we were telling you was not true, and then like no other information, like no context, no explanation, no anything, and then saying, oh, we'll explain more later. And so in the meantime, you've left a bunch of people disappointed and upset with valid reason to be. I don't know, I just feel like, you know, and obviously even if they explained the whole situation and said sorry, like, it would still be upsetting, and we would still feel kind of robbed and not good about it, but at least we would feel, you know, respected. Discover the future of Disney Dreamlight Valley. Hey Valley Villagers! In today's blog post, we're bringing you a first look at the extensive future plans for Disney Dreamlight Valley, unveiling our expansion pass in the first ever showcase on November 1st, 1 p.m. Today we are excited to announce the arrival of Disney Dreamlight Valley, A Rift in Time, a paid expansion pass coming to Disney Dreamlight Valley this December 5th. We're going to look at this photo in a little bit more detail in a minute. So I think we're just going to gloss on by for now, because I'm going to pull it up and cover myself with it. Learn more, we invite you to join us for our first ever showcase this November 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Streamed on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. During the stream, we will dive into the expansion pass, showing off this all new adventure across Eternity Isle, where you'll meet new friends, discover new biomes, and immerse yourself in new gameplay features. In addition, key members of the Disney Dreamlight Valley team will reminisce over their favorite moments from the past year, give you a glimpse at upcoming updates, and unveil much anticipated multiplayer features. We can't wait to share more next week, but ahead of the stream, there are a few other key updates we would like to share today. They're trying to hype build, right? Like, a lot of what they've done during early access is like, get us excited for new updates, and like, get us excited for Moonstone purchases, and get us excited for Dream Snaps, and get us excited. They're trying to get us excited for things. They're saying, join us on November 1st. This is so exciting. We're going to learn about this paid DLC, blah, blah, blah. But this is not the time for that. You're gonna give us, like, dump all of this on us and then say, get excited. Like, we are people. And so, like, give us some space to process everything. Or, honestly, in my opinion, I'm trying to couch this. I'm nervous to say it. My opinion is, I would rather be given all of the information at once, even if that's a week later. So I feel like if they were going to drop the bomb on us that free-to-play was not coming, and they say for the foreseeable future, that means it's not coming. Basically, that means they have no intention of making this game free to play. Maybe they will, you know, once the hype has worn off and the game's not really relevant anymore. But for all intents and purposes, this is going to continue to be a paid game. But they didn't want to give us all the information about that because they're doing this showcase. I would have rather had them say, we have big news, including paid DLC, if they want to release that. If not, I probably would have been better for them not to. We have big news about the future of the game. Join us for our first ever showcase on November 1st. And then they could release, you know, even if they release the same blog post like that day, just give us all of the information at once if it's going to be bad news. This little hype building game like that was fun to play when it was all good, when everything was all good, is not fun when we're told something that we don't want to hear, right? And like, I'm not trying to say like, oh, no negative things are like allowed to exist, right? Like in life, we are told things that we don't want to hear a lot. That's just part of being a human being. But this is a company who has customers, and this is how they're choosing to address us, and I just don't agree with it. I think they went about this in the wrong way, and they didn't keep us filled in. And regardless of how you feel about going free to play, whether you're for it or against it, or you feel nuanced about it like I do, we don't have all the information right now. And so it's like, how they're going to leave us hanging like in this little space of like not trying to process how to feel about something that we have no way of knowing how to feel about because we don't have the information. It's just frustrating. It's just like, I want the whole story at once. I don't want to be teased about something that's like not happy. Like, I'm going to taunt you. But like, keep buying stuff from me. I'm going to taunt you about something that's really disappointing and really upsetting, and we'll give you more information about it later, but for now, just stay positive and keep supporting us. And it's like, that you're asking way too much of us. I think that's the bottom line, is like, they're asking way too much of their audience, where it's like, what was the intention? I'm just so curious, what was the intention of giving us half of the information and then saying, oh, well, we'll share later. We'll share later, and also, this is an exciting thing. It's like, okay, two things can be true. Like, we can be excited for, the expansion pass and want to play it and intend to buy it and like whatever, and still want more from them in terms of communication and respect. Global launch on December 5th. Early access has been incredibly valuable for the entire Disney Dreamlight Valley team. Thanks to your enthusiasm and participation over the past year, we have had the chance to build the game we aspire to, while implementing your feedback to make the Valley experience even more magical. Reflecting on the journey we've been on with all of you, we're so excited to share that December 5th, Disney Dreamlight Valley will be leaving early. Pretty sure it says access, but my head's in the way. Yep. As we transition to launch, existing players will keep their access to their game, their moonstones, and their scene file. Like, what? Like, I don't know if anyone thought that was not going to be the case, but it's wild to me that they felt that they had to even say that. Like, oh yeah, you get to keep your game progress. Thanks, Game Ops. Thanks, I was worried. I was really worried about that. I feel like I've said a lot about it already, but let's read this one. An update on free to play. As we look ahead to the official launch, with the learnings we've gained from early access, we've made the decision to remain a paid game for the foreseeable future. This means we will not make the transition to be a free-to-play game when we leave early access on December 5th. Period. And I do appreciate the way that is straightforward. And that's very direct and very much to the point, and I do respect that. This choice ensures that Disney Dreamlight Valley will be able to continue delivering on a premium game experience for all players. It's important to us that we maintain our promise to keep delivering free content updates that add new characters, realms, clothing, furniture, and more surprises to your valley. Purchases requiring moonstones will remain optional fare and match the level of quality the players have come to expect. Players will still be able to collect free moonstones via Dream Snaps and Chest, or optionally choose to purchase them. So one thing that I feel very confused about, and another thing that I wish they would have waited on talking about this because of, is this sentence right here. Let me read it again. It's important to us that we maintain our promise to keep delivering free content updates that add new characters, realms, clothing, furniture, and more surprises to your valley. Right? Okay, so they're talking about how they had previously claimed that they weren't going to be charging for storyline content. I didn't catch that the first time that I looked at this. There was so much shock happening and just like frustration, and I feel confused about what this means. And it's frustrating because we have to wait for the showcase to figure it out. So they're not gonna give us any more information, I don't believe. I mean, maybe we'll see if they release more stuff, but it seems like they're just gonna hype build for the showcase. So it's like, I'm waiting, but I'm not waiting excitedly, right? I'm waiting like in a state of like anticipation and not like happy anticipation. Like I don't want to say it's anxiety because I don't feel that deeply about it, but it I guess that would be the closest word. It's this state of anxiety. It's this state of I'm not happy with the direction that this is going, or I'm curious if I will be happy with the direction that this is going. You gave me a little bit of the information, but you didn't give me all of it, and I feel confused, and there's no intention to make that any more clear until, next week. And that's frustrating. I feel left in the dark. I feel like we were left in the dark for a while once they decided this, and I still feel left in the dark now that they've told us. I just wish they would have given us all the information at once, even if that meant waiting another week. And that's how I feel. I don't know. Okay, so they're saying they're going to keep delivering free content updates. And what that means is not pay DLC, right? Because the game's not free to play for anyone. Everyone who's playing it now gets free content updates, but that's because we paid for the game. Fine. That's fine. I guess. Whatever. That's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm so curious what that means for our game. I think we might talk about this more when we go into the DLC, but it doesn't look like the second chapter. I'm assuming, and this is problem. I don't want to have to assume. I just want you to tell me. It doesn't seem like the second storyline chapter is free. And so what does it look like to them what does the free content look like? What does that mean? Does that mean at the same level as what we've been given? The same like amount of depth to it? Like the same amount of like time it takes to play through? Like what does that mean? And we just don't know. We just don't get to know. Okay, so launch game editions for new players. I'm going to skip over this because honestly, like I just am not super invested in like the editions conversation. If you want to talk more about that, I guess we could, but all I know is that if you're playing right now, if it is before December 5th, if it is December 4th or before and you are able to play the game, you have a Founders Pack 100%. It doesn't matter which one. If you bought the cheapest one, you have a Founders Pack if you are playing before December 5th, 2023. Okay? And that means that you are going to get the items that come with the gold edition. Not all of the moonstones. You'll get some of the moonstones, but you will get all of the items that come along with the gold edition. That's really all I have to say about that. I don't really care about anything else. And you'll have to buy the expansion pass. You don't get that. Okay. So these are, it looks like the four, because there's 2 outfits, 4 items that you get. We'll go over that later. I have the picture. As a final note, the Disney Dreamlight Valley Cozy Edition, a special retail exclusive edition, is now available for Nintendo Switch across North America. Cozy Edition will be, I don't care about this. I don't really want to talk about Cozy Edition, so I want to move on. I feel like I said all I had to say about free to play in terms of like how they went about it. So my opinion overall is that it's not necessarily a negative thing that they're not going to go free to play in terms of the lifetime of the game. I want to keep playing the game. Like basically as it is. And if we went free to play and the game changed completely, that would be disappointing. That would be more disappointing to me personally than if the game doesn't go free to play, which is not an if, it is the reality. So I feel overall mostly positively about the concept of it staying a paid game. I feel that it is of the same quality as a game that I would pay for. I did pay for it, and I don't feel negatively about having paid for it. I feel like it is a game that is worth, the average price of a cozy game. I know Stardew Valley's like $15. Animal Crossing I think was like $60. Like, it falls somewhere in the middle, especially depending on what which pack you got or whatever they're called, which edition, that's the word. So like I don't feel necessarily like it had to be a free game, and that's exactly where my problem lies. It didn't have to be a free game. It's not on the same level as free games, in my opinion. And so just don't say that it was going to be that. And that's, I think the bottom line for me is I wish they had never said it was a free game. And I know they can't go back, and so it's like whatever, but that's how I feel. Okay, here's what I think happened. My assumption is that they didn't think that the game was going to be as good as it is. I think they thought it wouldn't be liked as much as it is, or have as large of a player base as it does, or even in terms of like quality and like the level that it's on in terms of graphics and stuff like that. Like, I think my opinion is, and I could be totally wrong because they haven't given us anything. My opinion is that they didn't think the game was going to be as good as it turned out to be, whatever that means, whatever the good means. I don't really have like a specific meaning for what good is. And so when it ended up being as good as it is, right, it's still the same game, they kind of started seeing the potential for income, and also the ways that they would have to change what's going really well in order to continue to make money off of it. And so then we got into the premium shop, and they tested us with that, right? They wanted to see how it went. They wanted to see what we would buy, how we would feel about the prices, all of that. And I feel like my opinion on the premium shop is that it just went okay. It wasn't a huge success. It wasn't a failure either. A lot of people did buy stuff with moonstones and buy moonstones and all of that, but there was a lot of outrage about the pricing of items, and a lot of people were unhappy with it. And then came Dream Snaps, and I don't know if that was supposed to be a resolution or if it was a feature that was always coming, and I don't know if it was to band-aid the issue of the moonstones or if it was always intended to come in and help us earn them. Like, we weren't given that information either, but my assumption is, or not my assumption, but my experience is that since Dream Snaps, I've not had to buy any moonstones. And I didn't buy any moonstones previously because I didn't want to. And so I didn't. Okay, so my final thought is, am I mad that it's not going to be free to play? No. No, I never thought that it should be. I'm disappointed that they told us that it was going to be and went back on their word. I'm disappointed that they went back on their word, period. Like, whatever, if you want to make a free game, make a free game, But if it's going to prevent us from being overrun with microtransactions and it affecting the quality of the game or it killing the game, fine. Don't make a free-to-play game then. It's not. I personally don't think it ever should have been free-to-play. With that being said, like, personally, I'm one of the people who was waiting for free-to-play to come so that I could buy it on a different platform. If you're going to make a cross-platform game, it's not the best thing in the world to make them pay for the game over and over again on each platform. Like, that's something that they need to fix. If you already have it, if you've already paid for it, like, allow us to play on other platforms. I would love to be able to decorate on my computer at this point. I play on Switch, and it just takes, honestly, I feel like it takes 3 times as long to decorate an area. And that's frustrating, and I didn't want to buy it again. And so now here I am, like, I know a lot of people are in the same boat. They're already playing the game. They want to be able to use the computer to decorate or get onto a console with a higher item limit, whatever. And of course, like, I don't in any way want this to be overshadowed. If you were one of the people who had not downloaded the game at all and wanted to be playing it this whole time, but didn't because you couldn't afford it, or you were told that it was going to be free, so you decided to wait, and now it's not coming, like, I would be pissed. I'd be pissed too. And you have every right to be pissed. Like, that's so upsetting and so disappointing. And I don't want it to seem like I don't feel that way. That's so frustrating for you. And it's like completely something that could have been prevented. So that's very valid. Let's look at what we can see on this image. This is a lot, I believe. Yeah, this is a rift in time. Okay, this is also confusing for me because it looks like that's the new tool, right? So does that mean that's going to be part of the paid expansion and you don't get the new tool unless you buy it? This is where, so they've released teasers, and I don't feel like, obviously a teaser is not supposed to be clear on like what every single thing is, but when you drop a bomb of like, some of this content is paid that we didn't tell you was going to be paid before, right? So we didn't think, if this is showing us a rift in time and not anything about the future updates that are free, everything on here is paid. And I don't want to assume that's the case if it's not. I don't want to get mad that the new tool that you promised me as a free update is part of a paid update if it's not. And I wouldn't have to feel, I don't get to know what the right thing to feel is. So I can have outrage and have that be valid in the event that all of this stuff is paid that they promised to us for free. Or I can have outrage and have that energy be completely wasted because they decided they didn't want to be upfront with us about what is going on for a week. And that's really frustrating. I think that's the most frustrating thing for me personally. And I'm not saying that that should be the most frustrating thing for you, but for me it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. And no, it seems like no amount of processing on my end is going to help me feel more clear on how I'm supposed to feel because I don't have enough information to make those judgment calls. And that is what I feel the most frustrated about. I want to be able to have the information to make my own decisions, to feel how I want to feel about it. I don't want to be left dangling in this unknown for the sake of hype building and like making people excited for something. That doesn't make me feel excited, and I don't think that the general consensus of the community is excitement right now. And you know, if I'm wrong, please correct me. I would love to know. But from what I saw on Twitter and TikTok, people are not happy about this. People are not happy about a lot of things about it, and leaving us in the dark really overshadows the things that we could be happy about. I would love to be excited about a paid DLC. I'm not excited. Right? I think that will be so fun. I think, you know, if every single thing in this photo is part of the paid DLC, I would love to feel excited to get it. I don't feel mad that there's a paid DLC in general. I feel like it's a little bit shady to have the microtransactions now if you're going to be doing paid DLC. And to me, it seemed like the whole point of the Moonstone shop was so that they could make money because it was a free game with free content updates. So it's no longer a free game, and it's no longer only giving us free content updates. Even if they continue to give us free content updates, they're also giving us paid ones. So you have a paywall for entry to the game. You have a paywall for entry to the Star Path, which is a huge component of the game. That's honestly probably my personal favorite part of the game is playing through the Star Path. And then you have a paywall to mini DLC already, right? Like the Wally bundle and the Ursula bundle are already behind a paywall. And I understand that we can earn that currency within the game in certain ways. And so it's not necessarily a paywall in terms of cash out of my pocket, but it's still a paywall if I haven't earned enough. And so I was like, okay, those things are all behind a paywall because the game's going to be free with free content updates. Okay, well now it's not anymore. Now it's a paid game with a paywall to access the Star Path, a paywall to access a lot of items, a paywall to access multiple different mini DLC items, and then we have a separate, not in-game currency that is behind a paywall, but a paywall on more DLC. So it's how many different times are we going to pay for the same game? I'm not mad at paid DLC. I'm not mad at paid games in general. It's just you promoted this game as this really cool thing that you're doing for the community. How exciting it would be to be a beta tester, to pay to get in, to help improve the game for when it is free, so that the community has this cool free game with free updates. And yeah, there will be minor cosmetic things that you can buy, but you can still play the game and play through all of the important content for free. And it's okay, well, now we're seeing a rift in time. And that's not what it seems like. It seems like this is major content. This is not just cosmetic items. And, maybe I'm wrong, and that goes back to they're making us assume a lot of things, but it seems to me like there's going to be 3 new biomes, and you do not get to access any of them without this paid DLC. And along with that, it's going to come characters. Along with that, it's going to come companions. Whenever I start actually diving into what's in this image, we'll talk about what's in the image. But that is not just cosmetics at that point. That is a lot of gameplay behind a paywall. And I was of the opinion that the Wally and Ursula bundles were also not just cosmetic, that was also gameplay behind a paywall. So it's at what point, why did you say you weren't going to put gameplay behind a paywall? Why did you say it was going to be a free-to-play game? It's okay for that to not be the case. In general, it's okay to put content behind a paywall. It's okay to make a game and have it not be free. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be paid for the services that you're providing. But it's the fact of why did you say that then? My point is I bought Animal Crossing, okay? I bought the DLC for Animal Crossing. pricing. I think it was $20, but I think the main game was more expensive. Whatever. The pricing isn't really that important. I don't feel like they're that far from the normal. I think they're pretty much right in line with what other games cost. It's a good game. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a good game. I don't even think I bought into it like for the Disney aspect. I think even if it wasn't Disney characters, it's still a fun game. Like, I like it. And I do like Disney stuff, but like I'm not huge into it. The game is fun. I like the questing. I like the decorating. I like the grinding for materials. I like the Star Pass a lot. Adding paid DLC for $30 is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the way that they handled it and the way that they have handled communicating with us this whole time. They made it seem like this was some sort of groupthink and that we were part of the team and that we were, helping them out, reporting issues and all of this stuff, when that's just clearly not the case. And that's disappointing. Just don't make it out to be something that it's not. That's my main point. Can I say that more times in different ways, please? Okay, so let's look at this artwork. I see different crops in front of it. This is clearly a new space, right? This isn't anywhere in the valley that we have. So there's a lot of things about that space that we can look at and perceive and make assumptions on, or just, notice that it's there. I see the mini casita, and so that makes me think that you can kind of cross back and forth, which I believe I see the player house skin on the left also, like the main house, the yellow one. That gives me the impression that your inventory, or like where player houses are, is interchangeable with this second location. My assumption of what is so hard, because like I don't know what's coming in the free thing and what's part of the DLC, but my prediction at this time is that a rift in time obviously has something to do with time. I don't know what. It seems like this tool is probably something to do with time. There's definitely some sort of time warp, something happening there, but I don't have a guess for that. I think it's going to be 3 biomes. I'm just thinking, like, if it's a time thing, could we use them in both? But I don't think so. I don't think it's going to work like that. I'm assuming. I don't think so. That's my guess. The reason I think that there's 3 biomes is that you can clearly see 2 separate landscapes in this photo, and in the Forgotten quest, the little teaser that we got when we finished with that, you saw the little area off, I think it was to the left of the map of our current valley, which showed like a little arrow pointing to like 3 cubes, right? I think each cube represented a biome. So I think this is a separate space with 3 biomes. I don't know if they're going to call it a valley. I don't know what it's going to be called. This is a separate space that has 3 biomes, in my opinion. I guess I don't think Skull Rock has anything to do with this. So my prediction is that Skull Rock and whatever's coming with that is going to be part of the free content that comes, not DLC. I think, if we get more, it seems like we're going to get like more interactability with the Forgotten character. I've seen it on some people's games that there's like a friendship level on the top that seems to be a glitch right now, but I think that that's supposed to be coming. So I think that friendship level is going to also come with quests, and that has something to do with Skull Rock. And the storyline of the main valley is going to continue to progress. I don't know if like where that leaves like Nightthorns. I don't know. I don't see how they can have gameplay continue without the Nightthorns. So I don't know if they'll ever make that a part of the main quest line to get rid of them. But that's my prediction. My prediction is that stuff's going to happen over there in the main valley, and that's going to be the free stuff. So that's Skull Rock. I don't think Skull Rock is going to be a portal over here like I've seen some people say. But that's Skull Rock, that's the Nightthorns, that's the Forgotten friendship quests. That's going to be more characters with more friendship quests over there. I don't know what the storyline looks like for that valley going forward. I don't have any guesses for that. But so then that leaves the rest of this to be for the DLC, which is like, I think going to be like a mini second valley. You're going to get a new area with the 3 biomes. You're going to get a bunch of characters, it seems like. Some that probably are already there, some that you have to unlock, some that you can bring over. I don't know how it works, if they're going to have free roam to go back and forth? I would say probably. I would say if you have both valleys that they're gonna spawn wherever. They could spawn in either one is my guess. And that they kind of have free range the way that they do with the biomes now, and like how they can show up in the shop or the restaurant. Like they can go into different spaces that are behind loading screens, you know. I think this is gonna work the same way. Okay, so we have a snake. I see a snake. That's gonna be a companion. I see a monkey. That's going to be a companion. So this is where I'm a little bit confused. The third one, which is a capybara, I think. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But that's promoted as being part of the gold edition, which we're all going to get as founders, right? We're going to get the capybara. But this doesn't necessarily support my idea of 3 biomes, right? Unless you see a third critter that I'm missing, like a companion critter, because it doesn't make any sense that you'd have to buy the gold edition to get the capybara, but then it's also going to be like native to a biome. That's not, I don't think how they could make it work. So I see the monkey as one, the snake as another, and I think there's going to be a third little animal, critter, companion, whatever we want to call them, that I don't see here. And this is why. I think that the third biome is going to be underwater. I think the third biome is going to be like an Atlantis moment. You see the ruins in the beginning. You see the ruins kind of in the front and on the sides of both sides of this. So my prediction is you have the biome on the left, the kind of sandy Jafar thing, and then you have the biome on the right, which is very much, you know, woodsy, mossy, kind of the fog. It's giving very much like more forest, nature, meadow, whatever they're going to call it, because we already have forest and meadow, so I don't know what that's going to be. So you have those two, and then the third, which is in this picture, they've just hidden it, is the underwater biome, the Atlantis stuff, because there's so much that points to Atlantis already existing in the valley, like all of the ruins, I don't even remember who this quest line was with. I think Ursula. The underground cave with the puzzles, like all of that, like that's all Atlantis stuff. There's no way that we're not getting one. And then we also have a dialogue with Ursula about how does she hop around the puddles and everything so quickly. Oh, the underwater pathway. Okay, they didn't just put that in there for fun. They didn't. I'm confident about that. Okay, so I think they've shown us all 3 biomes in this picture. Anyway, so I don't know necessarily if there will be like companion critters underwater. Maybe. I'm feeling like probably not. Like maybe there'll be little fishies that you can feed or something. But it doesn't. I'm 50-50 on that. I could go either way. So I see these little crystalline looking things that are sprouting up from the ground. I have no guess on that. That could just be like a new forageable. That could be something that we have to crush. I'm not sure. I feel like it looks more like one of the things that like spawns in the biomes, and maybe it's like this valley's version of Nightthorns. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on that idea, but I'm not against it either. I'm seeing right next to Gaston. Oh, obviously Gaston, Eve, and Rapunzel, along with the player character, who I don't think is wearing anything new. No new clothes. If they don't give us new clothes in the next update, I'll cry. I'm not going to be mad about it, but I will cry. Clearly she's got the new tool. In the background, we see from left to right, stacked basically on top of each other, the player house skin, the yellow player house skin, and Wally's house. I think that's just like a staircase next to it. There's something else next to the player house, but I can't tell what it is. I can't tell if it's a decorative or if it's supposed to be something. Then we see what looks to me like the same house that we've seen in a lot of artwork that people have assumed belonged to Gaston. Then we have this big Aladdin-looking castle. Oh, I didn't even notice. It's like broken at the top. That is so interesting. It's broken at the top. It looks like maybe that's what this tool has to do with. I don't know how, but there's like pieces flying all around. I think that's what these little rocks in the air are. Pieces of this dome up there. I am so sorry if there's a word for it. I don't know it. And then directly to the right of that, like a little bit below, we see what looks like Wally's garden. And so you have that there, and then up front over here, like in front of the capybara, you have different crops. So there's 2 two different things talking about crops over here, so you're definitely, I'm assuming, gonna get more crops. Oh, then you have, you know, Rapunzel's tower and what looks like the mini casita, and then this boat. It looks like Donald's boat to me. Am I crazy? I don't see Daisy on the front. I can't really see it that well. It's very foggy back there. To me, it looks a lot more classic Mickey Mouse and Friends. And then there's like a lot of kind of nothing, like directly behind where the characters are standing. I think they're just giving us an idea of like the textures in those areas, what the landscapes look like. I don't really think that there's anything significant back there. Maybe like if those trees are new, you know, that root arch looks not like the one we already have. Clearly there's like some palm trees that are new looking over on the left hand side. So I think they're just giving us an idea of what the biomes are going to look like in general in the middle, but I don't think I see anything else in this image that's noteworthy. If you spot something that I did not see, please let me know. Or if you have any thoughts about my ideas, if you think that I am completely wrong on something, please let me know. I'm very curious. There's something else, like if you go directly above Gaston's head in the clouds up there, I simply can't see it though. I don't know what that's supposed to be. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, Gold Edition. This is going to be brief because there's only 3 things. There's 2 clothing items. Flowery capybara. Okay, so that might be the difference. So maybe there is the regular capybara that comes in one of the biomes, and then this is like the special one with the braid. I don't know. I'm not sold on that, but maybe. And then we have the very cute overalls. Okay, those are nice. I will say they're very cute. I think most people that I've seen prefer the one that's on the more masculine figure. I agree. I do prefer those as well. Very cute. Pretty much anything that looks like it comes from Tangled is a hit. And then this cottage house. Those are the items that we get with Gold Edition. And if you're playing the game now, I cannot stress this enough, if you're playing the game now or before December 4th, you will get these items because you are playing a Founders Pack, okay? Yeah, so that's, I mean, not to be like dry about the summer cottage house. It's very cute. I like it a lot. I'm not in love with the hay roof. I think that's a personal preference and that's fine. But yeah, those are the items. I don't know. I'm very curious to hear. I feel like everybody's kind of expressed their opinion at this point, but I love a respectful discussion about any of the things that I said in the comments. So if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear your point of view. I'm very open to hearing what anyone would have to say about it, and I am curious on like the more nuanced aspects of this, if I'm in the minority or majority. And I do have mixed feelings, and it's very disappointing because I'm glad they're not just letting the game die like they did with Animal Crossing. And I want to be excited for more stuff to come, even if it's paid stuff, you know? Like, I feel like we've gotten so much content already, and so I would guess that a DLC is going to give us like a ton more. And I want to feel excited about that. And I just wish I had enough information to make an informed decision about how I feel. And I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it. So if you're still with me, I feel like this is a very long video. So thank you so much for watching. And yeah, thanks for being here. All right, well, I got to go see what that is.